he's in this leftist thought bubble. He is in the most leftist thought bubble available, which is Hollywood. Famously, there's some videos of him in blackface, and those came out, and he had to apologize for them, and I think he took that hit and like really doubled down the other direction.
Joe Rogan has never been known for being quiet or careful, and that is exactly what makes people like him. Give him a microphone, and you will hear pure honesty, straight opinions, and just enough shocking words to make things exciting. His show, The Joe Rogan Experience, has become a big spot for long talks, fiery arguments, and clips that go viral on the internet very fast. Millions of people watch because they know he will always be real, whether they agree with him or not.
After he was sworn in, Trump gave his second inaugural address, which I have to say was more ominous than I anticipated.
In order to ensure the security and continuing stability, the Republic will be reorganized into the best galactic empire.
This is how liberty dies. Slow.
It's the kind of place where talks never stop, where no topic is too scary or too serious to say out loud. But this kind of open talk brings a lot of complaints too, especially when Joe Rogan starts talking about politics or cultural issues that many find sensitive. This freedom is the best thing about his show, but also the thing that makes people fight about it. On the other side is Jimmy Kimmel, the smooth and funny former host of Jimmy Kimmel Live on ABC. He is famous for his fast humor and style that works well with big audiences. Kimmel became popular by following the usual late-night recipe of funny jokes, celebrity guests, and sharp comments on news. But in 2017, when Donald Trump entered the White House, Kimmel changed his style and spoke out about politics more than ever before. This was a big shift in how late-night comedy talked about politics.
It was not an uplifting or even well-written speech. Trump said the golden age of America begins right now. Twice, he bragged about a landslide victory. That was in no way a landslide victory. Did he say America's decline is over? America's decline is over. In fact, it's right over there. There it is. Later on, the decline turns into a circle jerk, and that's when the fun starts to happen.
Kimmel's speeches on his show became stronger. His jokes about politics hit harder, and he spoke without holding back. To many people watching, he became a calm voice of truth in crazy times. But to others, he looked like just another Hollywood liberal. This split made him both loved and criticized. The difference between Rogan and Kimmel could not be bigger. Rogan loves messy, unscripted talks that go on for hours and feel risky. Kimmel is great at the clean, polished style of late-night TV. Their different ways show not only their personalities, but also the very different crowds that watch them. Sooner or later, they were going to clash. And when it finally happened, it was explosive.
Because the guy was so polarized.
Boy, wouldn't it be fun to put Donald Trump in that hot seat, see how much that genius really knows?
Right?
And because he was such an easy guy to turn into a...
What would you say to him if you could get this thing?
I would say, please, have a seat. You know what? Any time you spend on a game show is another hour you're not being president.
You pointed to him, you're like, look at the way he talks. He's going to ruin the world.
Can't tackle Donald Trump. He is the most important, the smartest, the most capable leader in the world. He's not going to let someone push him around.
It's a threat to democracy. We can do anything we can to stop him. So what do? They stop all the primaries.
Trump has now been well established. Is the greatest negotiator, the greatest deal maker, the greatest diplomat, and the greatest peacemaker that we have ever seen in this country.
It all started after Trump's inauguration. Rogan, just talking freely as usual, was discussing current events on his podcast. The talk turned to late-night TV, and how all the hosts were making anti-Trump jokes every night. That's when Rogan aimed at Kimmel. But his comments were not only about the jokes. In his rough way, Rogan said Kimmel wasn't doing real comedy, but was just trying to please his audience with planned political lines. His words were sharp, mixing anger with humor, and fans quickly noticed how strong they sounded. Social media exploded with debates. Rogan's loyal fans cheered him, saying he was cutting through fake Hollywood comedy with real honesty. To them, Rogan was the voice that told the truth.
Today also happens to be Martin Luther King Jr. Day, of all days. And Donald Trump and Martin Luther King, they do have something in common. One had a dream, the other had Eric. But Trump promised his administration would work to make Dr. King's dream come true. He said that in his speech, and he's right. These people will make sure we are judged based on the content of character, not on the color of their lily white skin. It was wall-to-wall white people at this inauguration.
But Kimmel's fans fought back. They said political jokes have always been part of late-night shows, and he was just doing what the format asks for. To them, Rogan's attack wasn't fair criticism, it was a cheap shot. They believed Kimmel's comedy was not only for laughs, but also for holding leaders accountable. The argument grew bigger and showed it was more than just two funny men throwing insults. It was about the cultural divide in the country. Rogan's crowd, who often don't trust mainstream media, thought Kimmel was fake and boring. Kimmel's fans thought Rogan was rude and careless. Soon, the media picked it up too. They called a fight between Rogan, the wild podcaster, and Kimmel, the smart late-night star. Some sided with Rogan, saying comedy should always be raw and free. Others defended Kimmel, saying comedy works best when it points at powerful people. The press made the feud even louder, keeping it alive for weeks. Neither Rogan nor Kimmel were strangers to drama, so this fight almost felt like it was always going to happen. Rogan's podcast often brings all kinds of guests: scientists, deep thinkers, conspiracy lovers, and controversial politicians. Critics say he gives a stage to dangerous ideas, while fans say his show is one of the few places for open talk and free thinking. This tension has followed him for years, and it shaped every fight that came after.
The problem with that kind of stuff is it continues to go in the same direction, where more and more things become forbidden and toxic, to the point where, the Elon Musk joking around about my pronouns are prosecute Fauci. Jimmy Kimmel made a tweet back to him. He said, your pronouns are
Kimmel also carried old baggage from his past, especially his man show skits, which critics now call outdated and offensive. Even though he said sorry for some of them, many people still hold it against him. These old clips gave both Rogan's and Kimmel's fans more reasons to attack the other side. The fight grew deeper as people dug into their past mistakes. Soon, gossip started to fly. Was this feud just about ego, a personal grudge? Or was it simply two comedians with very different beliefs finally clashing? Fans studied every comment, looking for secret meanings. But at the center of it all was a bigger question. What is comedy supposed to be in such political times? Should it stay polished and scripted like late-night TV? Or should it be raw and free like podcasting? The fight itself became entertainment. For some, Kimmel's careful style was the best kind of comedy. For others, Rogan's messy and free style felt like the only honest way left. Their styles didn't just make people laugh, they showed what kind of culture and politics people wanted. This battle-proof comedy is now also a war over truth and realness.
Remember how angry Republicans used to get when a Democrat president issued an executive order? Neither do they. Trump signed about 100 of them today that covered a variety of subjects, including renaming the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America, renaming Mount Denali Mount McKinley, and renaming Melania Ivanka, which Trump also signed pardons for those convicted of storming the Capitol on January 6th, 1,500 of them. He did this in front of a big cheering crowd, the same crowd he criticized Joe Biden for pardoning his family in front of.
The Rogan-Kimmel feud shows how comedy is changing in today's world. With podcasts and online creators rising, old media faces new challenges. Rogan, with his giant audience and no rules, represents this new freedom. He doesn't answer to TV bosses or ads, so he can say whatever he wants. But this freedom comes with big responsibility, and many critics say he doesn't always use it wisely. Kimmel, on the other hand, represents the old style of comedy, polished, scripted, and limited by network rules. Every joke has to pass sponsors and guidelines. Some say this makes him safe and predictable, while others say it shows his talent for making smart jokes inside tough limits. By the time the dust settled, the fight had become more than two comedians throwing words. It showed how society itself is split, not just in politics, but in what people think comedy should be. It became a fight about being real, about what comedy is for, and how media mixes with public life. There was no clear winner, but the feud itself became a big moment in culture and comedy. And one thing is clear, this won't be the last time Rogan and Kimmel clash in front of everyone.